Now the sun is just starting to climb up over the treetops, and it's gonna be a beautiful day, that's plain to see.
Welcome to Bill Dance Outdoors, America's most popular and longest running TV fishing show.
Now I've gone fishing with Bill Dance today.
Hello everybody. You know, as a youngster growing up, I think everybody can relate to the story I'm fixing to tell, had a particular bait that they really enjoyed fishing. I know my favorite bait when I was growing up, my very first bait was a jitterbug. But as time passed, creek fishing, pond fishing, my number one go-to type bait was an inline spinner. And there were very few farm ponds within a 10-mile radius of my home that didn't see my inline spinners. They saw them quite often. As I said, it was perhaps my number one lure back then, and today it's still one of my all-time favorites. What is it that makes these lures so attractive to fish? These straight spinners create a tremendous amount of reflections when they're turning underwater, in the form of an oblong, flashing, three-dimensional shape that looks like a live minnow cruising along. You know, about the only negative thing that I can say about these baits is that they will often hang when they hit cover. But when cover's present, visible or not, you can usually catch fish around it if you're careful. And with that said, I'll tell you what, we've talked long enough. Let's head to the lake and we'll talk some more when we get there. But let's see if we can catch a few bass on them. I bet we can. Want to bet? Come on. Whoa. Come here, Bubba. Okay, let me tell you something. When fishing any inline spinner, it's important to remember that if you insist on fishing the lure just under the surface, you might miss catchable fish, especially aggressive fish. Now what happens here, the fish, a charging fish especially, actually pushes the bait forward, causing him to totally miss the hooks. Plus, the angler usually reacts by setting the hook and pulling the lure even further away. Now, I personally have my best success by working the lure at least 1 to 2 feet under the surface. Say, 1 to 2 feet deeper below the surface. Yep, inline spinners are so basic, yet so generally and naturally appealing to most fish. They can catch them even when you fish them without fully understanding them. Naturally, learning all you can about how and where to use them will result in even more fish. Where are you going? Come this way. Wow. What are you doing, my boy? Come on. There we go. Come on. Open that mouth. Little bitty hook. Had it out once. There you go, little chubby guy. Bye-bye.
Bill Dance Outdoors is sponsored in part by Bass Pro Shops. Your adventure starts here. Rebel, catch fish anywhere. and by Mercury Marine. Go boldly. Today's Conditions Log is brought to you by the Tennessee Department of Tourist Development. Come experience the kind of beauty that can only be made in Tennessee. Go online today for your free Tennessee vacation guide.
Whoa, baby. What are you gonna do, boy? Come back here and get you, little rascal. Open up. There we go. Like that thing, didn't you? Huh? The blade on this bait is called a willow blade. It falls somewhere between the Colorado and Indiana in performance and has about a 20-degree angle blade angle that provides perfect action, flash, and vibration. This blade is the easiest turning of blades, responding to slow or fast retrieves, faster than the other two mentioned, creating more spin and reflection. It's a very versatile blade. Got one. Ooh, go, buddy, go. Come on around here where I don't have to bend down this far to get you. Come up here. There we go. A better one. Tugging away. Oh, boy, that bait just fell out. I got a blotch on his tail. Hello. With lures of this type, you'll find that they're usually manufactured with 3 different shaped blades: the Colorado, the willow leaf, and the Indiana. All turn at different angles to the shaft because of their shape. Shape determines blade angle, which determines RPMs. This determines the performance or vibration and action of each blade. The Colorado blade turns at about a 45-degree angle to the shaft. It creates more water resistance for slower revolutions that create a distinct thump. But the 45-degree angle revolution also reduces the amount of flash given off. Nevertheless, they're a good dirty water blade and a low light blade. Now the willow blade falls on the opposite end of the performance spectrum because it revolves at about a 20-degree angle. They produce the most flash but need to move at higher retrieve speeds in order to spin consistently because they have minimum water resistance. And finally, the Indiana blade. It falls somewhere between the Colorado and willow leaf in performance with about a 30-degree blade angle that provides moderate action, flash, and vibration. This one is more of a compromise blade. Boy, feels good. Strip and drag. What's wrong? Hello, Bubby. You don't like that spinner in your face, do you? Little potty thing. say toodaloo.
Today's show is sponsored in part by Quantum Rods and Reels, Outsmart, Outfish, Outlast, Mystic Lubricants, Lubrication Domination, and Tracker Boats, Fish the Finest. Today's equipment log is brought to you in part by Gamakatsu, because the fish of a lifetime only comes once in a lifetime. Today's show is sponsored in part by Stren, the standard of dependability since 1958. Fish Defunk, Kill the Stink. And Garmin, fight your fish, not your fish finder.
Wow. I got 2 fish falling at bait. That spinner just is getting it. All right, come on. Easy. You know, there's just something magical about inline spinners. They're absolutely terrific fish catching lures. In fact, there's not many freshwater fish that they won't catch. They work great on trout, crappie, bluegill, and naturally bass. And in the larger size, they work exceptionally well on pike and muskie. And in saltwater, you know, I've even caught trout and redfish on them. Yep, they are remarkable little baits. You know, these little guys, they date back to the mid to late 30s, and literally millions upon millions of them have been sold. You know, and I'd be willing to bet every bass fisherman at one time or the other has fished one, or they got a buddy that has. What's so doggone nice about fishing them, it's so simple. A chunk and wind, it's just about all it's needed. That's right, a steady retrieve is really all you need. Speed is dictated by the activity level of the fish. Okay, here's something that's real important. Many times what I do, I'll allow the spinner to sink to different depth levels. And the reason to do that, I'm trying to establish the most productive depth. But when you do this, you gotta be on your toes, because the biggest drawback to these baits, they will hang. So you gotta be on your toes when you do this. Right now, I don't have to worry about it because the fish are on a shallow pattern. These fish right here are in about 2 to 3 feet of water. So I'm fishing this bait extremely shallow, about 1 foot deep. When it hits the water, I'm not letting it sink very deep. By the time it hits, I just give it a snatch to get that blade turning, and then I'm just kind of slow rolling it, moving it right along. You know, I've heard pro fishermen say all lakes are not conducive for spinners. What? All lakes have water in them, don't they? I'll admit, muddy lakes are not ideal for spinners, and lakes choked with weeds aren't either. But if a bass is in a lake with clear to semi-clear water, spinners will work from early spring to late fall. How does a bass know where he lives? You know, if he lives in a lowland, middling, highland lake, a pond, a watershed lake, a creek, a river, wherever, he adapts to his surroundings, and his behavior is governed by the type and the amount of forage, and mostly water temperature. You know what really surprises me? I know a lot of these baits are sold. I mean, a bunch of them, but you just don't hear much about them. With all the specialized lures on the market and all the promotions they get, you know, it's all about crankbaits, jigs, swim baits, jerk baits, topwaters, spinner baits, and plastics. But like I said, inline spinners are truly versatile little gems. There's one. Whoa. Open that big old. There we go. Ta-ta.
Bill's question and answer of the week is brought to you by Bill Dance Digital. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube for great information that can improve your fishing.
Can fishery management make a difference, especially on large reservoirs? Yes, sir. The folks that do this are very dedicated and often unappreciated. They spend most of their days on the water, and that's fishing for facts rather than fun. Their work is geared toward making fisheries better. They're watchdogs for our pastime. Next time you run across one of them, be sure to thank them for the job they do.
Today's show is sponsored in part by Millennium Marine, a new class of comfort, and Motor Guide, trolling motors engineered for anglers. Closed captioning is provided by Bill Dance Digital. Follow us. Today's product tip is brought to you by Garmin and their GPS map series, chart plotter, sonar combos. With advanced sonar technology like Chirp and exclusive Panoptix all-seeing sonar, you'll spend less time finding your fish.
Garmin's new Striker series is their entry-level solution for anglers who want the best sonar available at affordable price. Its Chirp sonar technology provides nearly photographic images of object structure and fish, and the Striker series makes it available across the entire product line. Striker also has GPS, so you can get back to your favorite fishing spot anytime you want.
If you're looking for the latest fishing information and tips, be sure to check out the free Bill Dance mobile app, available for both iOS and Android users.
Whoa, baby. What are you doing? He swallowed it. Trying to jump, but you can. Oh, pull that pole down. Let me come back here where I can. Oh, I don't even see the spinner. Whoa. He got the whole spinner. There it is. Now, when it comes to equipment for these little fellas, it's also very simple. As long as you're using spinners a 1/4 ounce or less, which by the way is the most popular, open face spinning is the ticket. Like what I'm using is, like I mentioned earlier, is a 6'3" medium action smoke rod with a number 10 size smoke reel made by Quantum. And I got it spooled with 6-pound test original strand line. And a little old 2-pound bass on this equipment, boy, he'll give you all you want. Fact is, it's perfect for what I'm doing and a ton of fun, regardless of what size the fish is. Another fact, you just can't fish it without catching something. And that's another fact. There's one. Oh man. Look at here. Whoa, boy, look at the hill. Oh yeah. That's a toughie. I'm gonna horse him that white line. Pretty fish. Oh, come on back up. I know it's light line, and it's a pretty one too. Okay, slide right up here. Whoa, what a nice one. Let me tell you, these things come in a bunch of sizes and colors, with many different blade designs and color blades. But some are just plain with just a hook, others are dressed with hair wrapped around the hook, and some have plastic minnows attached. All work under certain conditions, but you'll find after fishing them, you'll have your favorites, just like me. Now, one of mine is like what we're using today. It's Bass Pro Shop's 1/4 ounce Tournament Series Micro Spin, and it's white and silver with a blade that puts out a ton of reflection. What bass in his right mind could let this bait go by without giving it a punch? Yep, spinners have a lot of history about them, and their true strength is versatility. So, if you haven't fished one lately, well, there's no better time than now to give one a fling. Good luck, and thanks for tuning in, and we'll catch you next time.
Now I've gone fishing with Bill Dance today.
Thanks for watching Bill Dance Outdoors. Join us here again next week.
Now I've gone fishing with Bill Dance today.